Hi everybody, and thanks for joining me today. So continuing to work on wall, vines, maybe some flowers closer to the top of this horizontal pass. I just moved my frame yesterday, and the edge is in sight. Yeah, right here is 500, and it's 550 stitches wide. So yeah, I don't know if we will manage to finish this month. That is the hope, but we will see. Oh my goodness. Stitching one of my hairs into the project there. That is not what I wanted to do. Yeah, I kind of had to start this video a couple times. I had a mega sneezing fit. And I didn't think you guys would want to hear that, so I started over. Yeah, I know a lot of people said they watch my videos to relax, and I think that would be the opposite of relaxing. So yeah. Ooh, decided to make a fresh start. Yeah, it is a winter wonderland outside where I am. Not a ton of snow, but there's a lot of frost. We had the bit of the freezing fog this morning. Oh, I don't know if that's a different hair or the same one. Anyway, yeah, it's like when the fog rolls in and it forms ice crystals on things. Yeah, it kind of sucks when you have to go anywhere because it's a pain to clear your car's windows and windshield, but it sure makes things look pretty. Yeah, I've put pictures up before on my Insta. There was one time I was walking down the sidewalk and we had days upon days of the freezing fog. And because of that, a bunch of branches on this tree got weighed down and it was over the sidewalk and it was almost like a little ice cave in there. Yeah. Had to be really careful walking on the sidewalks then, or you end up doing Canadian breakdancing. Yeah, which is when you desperately try not to fall down. Usually because the ice is under a layer of snow and you don't see it until you step on it and your legs go flying. Yeah. Yeah, it's funny because I had a couple times actually. I caught myself, but I swear I think I hurt my back more than if I'd just fallen down. Yeah, because everything tenses up, right? And yeah. So yeah, you have to be really careful because one year I bought these soft sole boots, which were really comfortable to wear, but the problem is, yeah, the instant they hit ice, it's like stepping on oil. Like, they were so slippery, you just could not keep your footing in them. And I took some fabric paint and like put some squiggles on the bottom, and it worked fine, but the problem is they would wear off after one or two wears, and you would have to do it again. And if you forgot to do it, then yeah, there you went flying again, like Bambi on the ice. So yeah, I finally said, okay, forget it. I paid extra money for some proper boots that are like motorcycle boot style. They're much more secure on the ice because that's a necessity out here. I said someone needs to invent a boot that like has retractable cleats so you can, you know, push a button or something and they come out when you need to walk over an icy, you know, sidewalk or something, and then you can push another button, push the button again and retract them in or something. Yeah. Or it'd be nice if they could have something that kicks in automatically, like my car's four-wheel drive does when you hit ice. Yeah. Yeah, my husband had to get used to that because he'd driven four-wheel drive vehicles before for off-roading, but you manually turn on the four-wheel drive or turn it off. And yeah, my car, it's automatic. It kicks in. And you had to get used to that, but I really like it because I don't have to think about it. Yeah, the instant my car hits some ice, boom, it's there. That and the anti-lock brakes. So yeah, those have saved me from a collision more than once. That is for sure. Okay, 152. So yeah, again, I'm going to be working across a fairly wide swath. Again, at the bottom here, I did go a little bit out of order just because that was the shape of the vines, the leaves there. And I decided to just follow it rather than fight it. Okay, so just cross-checking with my grid lines to make sure I'm in the right spot, because yeah, it could be harder to tell when it's a really straight line like this. The landmarks are not quite as obvious. So yeah, actually planning to go out tonight. It's one of my close friends' birthday. So we're gonna go to karaoke, which I have not been since before the pandemic. Yeah. So I'll probably sing something by Trisha Yearwood. I really like her stuff because it's like exactly in my range. Yeah. I kind of don't really fit in a lot of what popular music they go too high for me. I'm not a soprano, that's for sure. I guess I'm firmly an alto. Yeah, the last time I went karaoke, I did an unintentional mic drop. I was just putting it back on the counter, but I put it too close to the edge and it rolled and fell. I said, sorry. Because, yeah, they actually had a sign like saying, don't drop the mic, because way too many people were doing that and damaging them. Yeah. So I was like, no, but I didn't do it on purpose, I swear. Okay. So travel up and down a little bit here. Let me see what I want to do. Okay. All right. Just planning ahead a little bit here. Yeah, it's just wild. Like I said, gotta be thinking about Christmas preparations already. Or at least I do. I don't like leaving it till the last minute, so yeah. Yeah, and especially if you're ordering stuff, some things will take a while to. So if you're at the 6, weeks for delivery, you got to be on it right now if you want to get it in time for Christmas. Yeah. Yeah, my husband's coming with us, but he's not going to sing because he's pretty tone deaf. We got him to sing once. We had just a house party and they brought a karaoke machine, so he sang with his brother. But yeah, he's not as bad as some I've heard, but yeah, he's not. It's funny because he can hear when things are out of tune really well. Like he's done a lot of work on stereos and things, and he's very finicky about setting it up, and he can hear when things are like slightly out of phase and stuff that a lot of people can't. I'm like, so how can you do all that and like not be able to carry a tune, It's funny. I guess it's a different part of your brain or something. I don't know. Because, yeah, like I said, he'll hear phase variances that I don't. But, I'm not the world's best singer, but I can carry a tune pretty decently. So, yeah, go figure. That's funny how certain skills do not translate even though you think they would. Okay, so this one here. Yeah, it's not very long, but I think it should hopefully be long enough to just do all of those. We shall see. So I figured out what my problem was with YouTube and the uploading. Yeah, it didn't like the format I was using. It used to be fine, and I guess they have changed their guidelines or something. So, yeah, I did some Googling and found the preferred format. And yeah, the last time I went to upload a video, it was uploaded in like 6 minutes. So, yeah, I guess I found the sweet spot now. Because, yeah, like my husband said, yeah, if it's the wrong format, then it has to convert like every frame. And when it's an hour-long video, yeah, that takes a while. That's why it was taking like 8 to 10 hours to upload, which was a bit of a pain, yeah. Yeah, so I said they must have changed the way they do it on their servers, I think. I mean, because, yeah, like I said, my Wi-Fi isn't that slow. Nothing had really changed on my end, so. And it had been like 3 videos in a row that happened, so it wasn't just a fluke. Yeah, and especially since my computer hadn't been doing slow on anything else, like downloading games and things like that. The connection was fine, so yeah, if it was having problems uploading, I figured it was probably something besides the internet connection that was the issue, and yeah, it was. So, okay, I'm gonna do these 2 here as well, since they are on that edge, even if, yeah, like I said, you can see this one stitch here gets more closed in than I usually do, but so yeah, I apologize. My heat will probably be kicking on a fair amount. It's a chillier one today. That's just, yeah, life here. Okay, just looking at different. Either way, I either have to stop and start a bit, or I have to do stuff out of order. So just decide when I get there. Oh my, that one is not cooperating. There we go. Yeah, I don't know about everyone else, but these years definitely flown by for me. I feel like Christmas just ended and here we are again. Okay. Got a few needles here, but I'll see if I can manage to juggle them without getting them tangled up. It kind of depends because the latest used needle kind of ends up on top, and if you kind of have a bunch of colors alternating, they can kind of almost form a twist after a while, like a barber pole or something. So yeah, then it gets harder to pull them out with the needle still on. If you go back and forth sort of between 2 colors, that doesn't tend to happen quite as much. Okay, take a look at this thread here. Yeah, it's kind of a medium length. All right, so I'm going to check. I think I've got some short, perfect, yes. Man, it was funny the other day. It was driving me nuts. I had a theme song from a TV show that I knew I'd watched in the last few months in my head, but it was instrumental. It has no words, so I couldn't, I couldn't just Google the lyrics to find it. I ended up having to go through all my watch history and listen to the different theme songs before I could finally find what it was. It was from the Wheel of Time, in case you're curious. Yeah, they kind of got rid of the opening credits thing in the second season. I was kind of disappointed because I actually enjoyed them. It shows, different threads weaving together, which is, related to the story. And yeah, I thought that was really cool. And then, yeah, I found the second season. They showed it maybe one or two, but not every episode, and I kind of missed it. I usually don't sit through, credits, but if the theme song's really nice, I will. So, yeah. If I listen to it every time, it's good. Yeah, especially since, like I've often said nowadays, streaming shows often still have a credits theme, but, the cable shows, I don't know what you call them now, but I'm going to call them cable stuff, often doesn't because they want to fit one more ad in. Yeah. Oh yeah, so I saw the news that the actors' strike looks like it's finally over. It's one of the longest in history that they've had. But I hope that means they get back to production on some shows soon because, yeah, there has not been much. This year, yeah, I'm missing all my favorite shows. Yeah, I'm excited there's a new NCIS series premiering Sydney, so set in Australia, so yeah, I'm looking forward to watching that. Yeah, I've watched quite a few Australian shows because they have a lot of them on Prime, so yeah. Yeah, it's one nice thing with streaming. I mean, in the old days, there was no way I could have watched them, but yeah. It's kind of funny, though, to watch the automatic captions because it doesn't account for the different accent, and yeah, it gets words sometimes ridiculously wrong. Okay, let me see. How long is this pink one up here? Yeah, all right. All right, so yeah, when I've been seeing, they talk about premiere dates this last fall and stuff, it was all streaming stuff, basically. Things premiering on like Netflix and Prime and stuff, but yeah, none of the usual NBC and CBS and Global and stuff. Yeah. So yeah, I'm looking forward to having that back. Even though, like I said, these days with streaming and there's just huge catalogs of stuff to watch, so it's not like we've run out of anything. It's just, yeah. Hey, there's a lot of stuff that ended on cliffhangers that I'd like to see continue. It's interesting because I read that they started the whole cliffhanger thing to get people more, you know, to keep watching the show, but that they've discovered it really doesn't make that much of a difference anymore. Yeah. So, or basically, yeah, it'll give you good ratings for like the next season premiere, but then it will drop off right away if people aren't invested in the show. They'll just want to see how that plot line was resolved, but they won't keep watching. So, yeah. Plus, these days, you don't even really need to watch the show. You can just look up a recap the next day, right? Somebody will have already written a review on it, so. Yeah, although you have to be careful so you don't get things spoiled for you. I was so annoyed one time. All I wanted was, I Googled the show's name and like season 5 premiere date, and boom, right in the very first result, they gave away a giant spoiler in the headline. Like, thanks a lot, guys, you know? It was like, such and such character dies in the premiere. It's like, really? Thanks a lot. Like, it hadn't even aired yet either. Like, guys, if you're going to include spoilers, don't put them in the headline, right? Like, you should at least bury it in the text with a spoiler warning. Oh. It's funny because I hate things being spoiled for me, TV movies, but I actually will look up reviews with spoilers in them on books sometimes. Yeah. And I don't know why. Maybe it's because I have to invest more time in reading, and if the spoiler turns out to be something that's a real big deal breaker for me, then it keeps me from investing a bunch of time in a book that's just going to make me mad. So. But yeah, I had a couple of times I had things spoiled for me, and it was something that my husband watches too, so I didn't say anything. And then later he goes, oh my gosh, did you know that was coming? I'm like, actually, yeah, I did, but I figured one of us having it wrecked for them was enough. I wasn't going to wreck it for you too, So. So I'm gonna have probably more than one thread of this color for a bit. Yeah, I can see that happening because, yeah, there is a lot of it kind of scattered around, so that is what I tend to end up doing. It's funny because there's a group I'm in on Facebook that's actually called What is the Thing, and it's to help people identify stuff that Google couldn't track down for them. Yeah, it's fun. It's such a pardon me, it's such a victorious feeling too when I actually know what it is. Yeah, like someone say, I'm looking for this book that I read in 1985, and I think it had a pink cover, and it, this was kind of the plot line, and actually knowing it is, yeah, it's fun. Oh yeah, actually I know that one. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just always amazed. sometimes what people can find based on like the sparsest of little details, and somebody will remember it. It's like, yeah, I love the internet sometimes for stuff like that. So yeah, my fabric isn't perfectly taut because I've moved it over far enough that the far edge can't clamp into my frame, so it's just kind of hanging there. But it's good enough. I'm not someone who needs it to be perfectly drum tight. Just as long as it's somewhat taut, then I'm good. Okay, so I think I may end up again sloping out this way because of the colors, or I may not. Just kind of all depends. I'll decide once I sort of scroll up there what it is I want to do. Yeah, I can see the leaf is kind of going this way, so I may just do what I did down here, slope this out this way, and then fill in the leaf part, because otherwise I'm going to have so many threads going that that's just going to kind of make things more prone to tangling. So that is what I shall do. Oh, speaking of tangling, it's tangled in my working tray here. That does happen sometimes. Okay. That wasn't too bad. I was able to tease it apart pretty easy. Okay, so I'm going to branch this color off. I'll do another thread later when I'm doing that. Oops. Once I'm filling in this area here. But yeah, I am going to put these aside. Just going to carefully separate them. Yeah, because otherwise I've already got a lot of needles, and if I worry about filling this in here, I'm going to end up with even more, and then I am definitely going to have a tangle on my hands. So yeah, I had things mostly back in my diagonal, and now I'm going to go outside of it a bit. Oh dear. Yeah, we're supposed to have above freezing in a few days, so yeah, I often say our temperatures jump around more than the stock market. Okay, again, I'm probably going to end up with a few threads of this color because it is scattered all over the place. And there may be some done out of order because maybe just too much trouble to try to avoid it. Oh, look at that. I didn't cross that one. Right next to here, yeah. This one right there. Yeah, I realized that leg was going the wrong way because I only did the bottom leg. Okay, I'm going to fix that right now. Otherwise, I may not remember to do it later. Yeah, did you see that? Okay. There we go. Yeah, I find every time I take my grid lines out, there's always a handful that I did miss. Try not to, but yeah. That is one drawback to not crossing every single X as you go. Some people do that. I generally don't, but yeah, that is, like I said, sort of one of the potential cons is that, yeah, if you do a bunch of bottom legs and then cross the top ones, you may miss one or two. So yeah, this stitch did end up closing a little bit. That's okay. Okay, so I'm going to do a bunch like that. Just coloring one in there. Make sure I grab the correct one because there's more than one thread of the same color. I've done that before. Okay, let's cross check with my grid lines there. Yes, even though it was icy out there, I did go for a walk outside. It bundled up really well. Yeah. The day before it was too nasty to go outside, so I stayed inside, but yeah. I decided to brave it today. The sidewalks weren't too icy, so. Yeah, I wasn't the only one. I met a few people, and not just people walking dogs. Yeah, I didn't come across anyone in shorts, although there is always that one person, right? Who, yeah. Even in -40 weather is out in his flip-flops and shorts. Yeah, I'll never be that acclimated to the cold, that's for sure. Okay, it looks like this is gonna sort of run out at just the right time. Yeah, I'll leave it here to do that one stitch there, but I'll get back to it. Okay. Yeah, so I discovered my Kindle Fire can also read my books to me. And it can do it with the screen off, so that saves the battery a lot, yeah. Because you don't have to actually use accessibility features as long as it's... Most books will have text-to-speech feature in it. So yeah, it's quite nice. Because yeah, with my phone, I'm using the accessibility features, but yeah. Then the screen sort of has to be on, and it drains the battery very quickly. Yeah, I did say a few months ago I was going to replace my phone, but I haven't yet. Yeah. I think it's to do with the new... It has the, I don't know what they call it, like optimized battery charging, where it doesn't charge it all the time. It follows your patterns. And so I have mine where it says it'll finish charging by 5 a.m. So it stops at like 80% charge and then charges the rest by the time you're supposed to get up. And then, yeah, it makes the battery last longer. And I have noticed because my previous phones, by now, the battery was dead. Like the instant you tried to make a phone call, it would just, give out on you. And this one has, battery's not as good as when it was new, but I have had it for like 3 years, I think. So yeah, it hasn't been bad. And I was going to replace it, but yeah, and like I said, we went to the neighboring province a couple weeks ago, and my battery lasted pretty good. I didn't even need to plug it into the vehicle charger, though. I mean, I wasn't using it much because I was trying to save the battery, but it's still, yeah, it lasted pretty well. Because yeah, my husband said, like he has a charger if I needed it, and I brought myself a power bank too, just in case. But yeah, it was good. Well, I can't really use it much on the road, even if I'm not driving, because like I said, like looking at a book, I'll get motion sick. So looking at a screen, same thing. So yeah, more just used it to like check road conditions and things. It's wild. Like I said, people always want the newest phone. It's like up to iPhone like 15 now. I'm like, man, I'm still on an 11, And actually, when I went to an 11, they were having a deal because I think I was still on like a 7 or an 8 at that point. And usually I would just go to the next one because it was cheaper than, getting the latest. And then they had a deal where it was like the same to get the brand new. So I got an iPhone 11. Oh, yeah, I don't know why I did that out of order. Oh, well. Now that it's done, I'm not going to undo it. But yeah, yeah. I don't need the newest. As long as it works, I'm happy. Oh yeah, this grid line got pulled a little out of place here, so I have to be careful that it doesn't mix me up. Oh, I parked that wrong. Yeah, should be one more stitch to the right. It should not be right next to, yeah, the one I just did. There we are. Okay. So yeah, like I said, I'm going to go a bit out of order here. Follow this line. Because yeah, there's a leaf here that cuts into it, and I'm just not going to do any of the leaf colors yet. I'll fill it in after. They always say if a tension line sort of forms around a motif, it's not really noticeable because of the color change right there. I generally don't have a problem with tension lines, but hey, you never know. Okay, this thread is pretty much done. I'm going to park it over here to use on that one stitch there because that's pretty much all I'm going to get out of it. Okay. Just going to, again, check the stuff I've already got parked. Yeah, that's short. Okay. Decide what I'm gonna do. Okay, I'm probably going to do, yeah, again. I can either go out of order or I can use more than one thread branching off, which is what I think I'm gonna do here. again, yeah. 2 different threads here of this pink. Okay. I think this one is short, yeah. And I think, yeah, that was the needle in it. It's too short to stay on. Yeah, so I'm going to, oops, there, do these 3 with this thread and then use the other thread. Oh, oops, silly me. I went over 2 squares at once. That is not the effect I was going for. Okay. Right, I remember that piece that was parked at the bottom there is enough for just the one stitch that it's parked in. Okay, there we go. Gonna come into some bigger blocks of color here. There hasn't been a lot at this edge of the design, so that slowed me down quite a bit. Yeah, whereas the left of this pass in the middle, there was a lot of sky. Then the peacock's neck, which is not very many colors, so that zipped on by. But yeah, this wall here and these vines and flowers have been a lot more confetti heavy, so that has slowed things down. But yeah, as I always say, I'll be happy for the detail when it is done, even if it can be a bit of a slog to get through sometimes. just set these aside for now. And then, yeah, new thread for this one here. Ooh. Oh, pardon me. Yeah, the one drawback when it's outside and it's sunny and snow is it can get blindingly bright out there. Yeah, sometimes I have to close my drapes a bit because the natural light can be very intense when it's like that. Unfortunately, because I love my natural light, but yeah, I can get a headache when it's bouncing off the snow like that. Oh. Fluffy ends there. We go. Okay, so start here and carry up. Okay, after all adding so many threads, I can finally tie one off. Yeah, this leaf kind of and vine kind of goes quite a ways down. So yeah, like I said, I used to be more strict with my diagonal, but I found it actually goes a little faster sometimes when I'm not. Okay. Okay, I think I'm gonna go again out of order here and just do both of these because this strand is really short. If I drop the needle, it'll probably come off and I'll have to thread it again, and it's a real pain when it gets to the end like this. Yeah. My goodness, somebody's excited out there. Like I said, even though I'm going outside of my diagonal, I still try to not stitch cross country because I find in the end, my stitches don't look quite as neat. Probably not enough that anyone would notice, but yeah. I used to railroad my stitches and I kind of fell out of the habit, and I don't notice that much of a difference, so. Okay, another thread that can be tied off. Oh, yeah, that thread suddenly felt a centimeter too short, which means there was a knot. Okay, so again, I'm going to check the length of both of these. Yeah, that's not very long. Okay. Actually, neither of these is. We'll see if it's enough to do all these or if I will have to add another thread later. Which, yeah, sometimes happens. Yeah. Well, threads can't last forever, so sometimes they run out at inconvenient times. Yeah, I think I end up with some more vines showing up here too. I can kind of tell from looking at the colors on the pattern. Okay. Ooh. Oh dear. Oh, pardon me. Yeah, actually slept okay, but apparently I looked it up, and one of the side effects of one of my medications is more yawning. I'm like, okay, so that's part of it, because yeah, I'm getting a decent amount of sleep. I'm getting my exercise every day, so maybe that's it, because I often find myself yawning when I really don't feel that tired, so yeah. That could be it. Let's see if this thread is long enough. Oh yeah, it is. I can't always remember the length of all the threads that I have attached, especially when there's so many. But you know, I can actually do a bunch in a row. Yeah, so I said wall and vines, but I ended up doing basically all wall today. Fill in vines and leaves later. Make sure I'm grabbing the right one there. I almost grabbed the tan instead of this. Yeah, more beige color. That would have sucked. Grid line cross check caught me before I messed that up. Closing in on 200 done. Sweet. Especially with so many colors and threads to juggle. I'm quite happy with that. Okay, we won't stop on an even 200 this time, but that's okay. I'm going to stitch past 200, and then I'm going to call it a day. Okay, yeah, 204. Pretty happy with that. And I'm closing in on 72,000 done. It's 71,907. So yeah, we're getting there. I'll probably be past 72,000 by the next time I'm going to stitch with you guys. But anyway, thank you so much for joining me today, and hope to see you here next time. All right, thanks everyone. Bye.